Intersections of 2 arrays 2. Let's do this within 15 minutes. So it's 1:52 right now. Let's finish this by 1:15. Alright, give myself a few extra minutes there. So intersections, what does that mean? We're trying to find the intersecting values between array nums1, nums2, both contain integers. I would say if you don't know how to do this problem, learn what a hash map is. Each element has 2 subvalues, which are keys and value, and this comes into hand when we count the unique values and how many times they actually appear. So it's not only just 2 that is the output, because it appears twice. We got to count how many times it appears in both arrays. So that's why the output is 2, 2 here, because they share 2, 2. And now the first step to this solution is to go through nums1, right, and find how many times each unique value appears. And we're gonna put the unique values as keys in our hash map, right? The key, the K part, and the V part of the element in the hash map will be how many times these unique elements appear. So let's do that. Hash map integer, because this is going to be integer hash map equals new hash map, bang 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 bang. And now we need a for loop to go through our hash map. So we got this little speedy for loop here. Int I nums1, that's spacing in there. Now, a little trick, a little function, built-in function into our hash map is the compute if present function. So we're gonna check, does I already appear in map? And if it does, that means we just iterate the value 1, because we're just saying add 1 to how many times it appears, because we found it again, right? So that's the line of code right there. And if you want to learn more tips and tricks about hash maps, just go through the documentation and you'll understand it a lot better, because we're going to use a couple of these throughout this tutorial. So now we got that first part, but what if it's a completely unique value? It hasn't appeared yet. So if map contains key equals false, remember key equals the unique value in nums1, that means we iterate the value plus 1. I know we put a new element into our map with I value 1, right? So let's do that. So if map dot contains key I, it's false, that exclamation mark, don't forget that. And that means we do map dot put I v I1, sorry, brain fart. So we map put I1 because that's the first time we're gonna add it, and the value is 1 because it's only been added once. So that's pretty simple. Now let's move on to the second part of the array of the problem. So we gotta go through nums2, right? And we gotta check if the elements in nums2 appear in our hash map, right? So that means that's an intersecting number, right? And you might be asking, but what about how many times it appears, because it can appear multiple times? That's where we iterate the value part of our elements. We can decrease it by 1 each time we find it, right? And yeah, we can add that to an output stack, which is very convenient for us because a stack is a dynamic data structure, because we don't know how many intersecting elements there is. So we use a stack, integer stack, for our output. Stack equals new stack integer, not type. Okay, so for int I, we're gonna loop through nums2 now. If map dot get map contains key I, which is the element in nums2, and map.getI, which is the value of this key, a value associated with that key, and this has to be greater than 0, right? Because every time we find it, we're trying to iterate to our output stack, and we don't want to add it if it's 0. So that means the intersecting elements are over. So if it gets I, that means we push this to our stack. Alright, and then we do map.put that same element, and we get the value, the current value, and we reduce it by 1. So that's why we had the map.get I is greater than 0 Boolean statement, because if it's 0, that means it'll be -1, and that'll run into complication. So you get the value, the current value, and reduce by 1. So should make sense. And if it doesn't contain key, we don't do anything else. So now we got to get an output array, because the output is an array. That is one of the details included here. That's simple. Just create a new array. Let's name it intersections equals new int stack.size, because that's how many elements. Remember, the stack is all of the intersecting elements. And then while stack is not empty, that means we just add it to our intersections array. But we actually need an I index value. I index value. I don't know why my voice died there. I++ equals stack.pop. So what this does is it removes the top element from the stack, as well as returning that value. So this way we can remove and get the value of each element in the stack. Lastly, we return the intersections array, and let's just go through our code real quick. HashMap if present and contain key, put it. Yes, yes, and that should work. For line 13. Had a typo there, extra space. That worked. All right, hopefully this video helped. Really, it's about understanding the HashMap data structure. After you learn how to use that, it might seem a little intimidating because of the name, but really all it is a dynamic data structure which elements have two values, a key and a value. And this really helps in a lot of situations, especially when we need to find unique elements. So it's very similar to the hash table and hash set. So I really recommend going to the Oracle documentation, checking it out, and hopefully this video helped. Thank you for watching.